From high atop my mountaintop, it's Mount Manitoba, the home of NotInHallOfFame.com. Myself, Kirk Buchner, the owner, with my partner, the other owner, Evan Nolan. What do we have? What do we own? NotInHallOfFame.com, Fictitious Athlete HallOfFame.com. Actually, it's not the Fictitious Athlete HallOfFame.com, but it's a Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame. We'll get there. Evan and I've got, I've got some big news for Evan. He doesn't even know it yet.
I have. You told me what it is, but I have no way of knowing. So.
Well, I told you what it is, but you didn't know I gave you the meat, but I didn't tell you how I cooked it.
That's true.
Yes. Also, the Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We'll have news about that next week. And our biggest project to date, the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. Vote now, vote often. www.notinhalloffame.com/USA. Hey, you want to be part of something big? This is going to be the first ever class for the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. Looks like we're going to push that back just a little bit, but I think it's going to be all for the greater good. And you are the ones who decide who votes. All of you. I mean, like, it's my votes equals to Evan's votes equal to other votes. And, you know, this is not sort of like vote by mail or whatever it is you crazy Americans do. I don't even understand.
Well, all I know is I'm just happy to finally have a Hall of Fame where I have the same voting power of little Stevie Van Zandt. So,
hold on, touche. Hats off on that. I had to take the hat off.
Oh, Winnipeg Blue Bombers hat, nice.
Oh yes. Well, yeah, matches the LSU T-shirt because.
Yeah, well, you got the Blue Bombers hat. I got the Boomers hat with my Mammoth Cave shirt. So there we go.
Well, we're not just the two best dressed podcasters.
Yeah, it's us.
Or of course, I'm definitely showing my age. So Evan, I turned 50.
I know. I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna bring that up later.
Oh, we're gonna bring it up later. Okay.
I just said I wish you a very happy round number birthday. You are now. You have not hit the Wilford Brimley line yet, but you're getting there.
I thought I did hit the Wilford Brimley line.
No, he was like 500. He was 50 years and 161 days or something. So you're getting close.
Ah, okay. Well, I'd like to think I look better than that. You know when I really realized that I was old? Actually, it wasn't when I turned 50, which should be the tip, but it was when the song that made me feel a little old now became old enough for me to have sex with.
Oh, God.
Which would be All the Small Things. Because when that first came out, that's not like, I remember thinking, what the hell's happening to music now? What's all this emo, whiny shit? And now, that's over 18. That's how I knew I was really old.
It happens to us all. The first time I felt old, honestly, or my age mattered. It wasn't necessarily I felt old, but my age. I was like, wow, that's kind of weird. Is when I turned 36, and the kids graduating high school were born the year I graduated high school. That was weird. And now next year, the year will be the kids graduating college will been born the year I graduated college. So it's just going to get worse.
Yeah, well, I'm in now that 50 to 64 category. When you fill out a survey, which pretty much means that most advertisers don't give a shit what I think.
You go on YouTube and all of the advertisements for hip replacements and Metamucil.
No, oh shit! That reminded me. I had something to. I'll cue that up next week, but because I did go on a YouTube rant, if you remember, about how it was being targeted for WNBA tickets.
Oh
yeah. Well, I did get now more targeted things. Oh, shit. I'll play it next week because I'll just play the opening, and I now long for WNBA.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of things we're longing for, we actually had. That's the best segue I could come up with.
Yeah.
But thinking of things we're longing for, we actually had news out of the senior, or not the senior committee, the contributors / coaches committee. The NFL or Pro Football Hall of Fame. They combined what used to be the contributor and the coach category into one, and only had one nominee this year. And it's somebody who's, in many people's opinion, long overdue. Many time finalist, never gotten in, and he has to get in now. You'd imagine.
Yep. Don Coryell, the most innovative coach, arguably of the last 50 years. His fingerprints are all over the National Football League in the passing game. You and I would have bet the farm. I think me more than you on your guy, Robert Kraft.
Yeah, I mean, we joked about that in the special that we did with the senior reaction, that it was a Robert Kraft Invitational. But yeah, I mean, if there was somebody else, Coryell was a pretty good shot, mainly because a lot of people brought this up. When he was just in the coaches category, his coaching record isn't that great, right? He was on a lot of coached a lot of teams that didn't win a lot of games. However, you put him in the coach or contributor category together. Now that allows you to bring in his offense and everything else and the innovativeness that he brought to the NFL, which I mean is still clearly being shown today with everything. The explosion and passing has to do with the loosening of the rules on defense, or the tightening of the contact rules on defense, but B, the principles that Coryell brought to the NFL when he was coaching.
Which his was first.
His was first, right?
Yeah, to leave it at that point. I mentioned to our little chat group on Twitter that as much as I was surprised, but I'm happier this way.
Yeah, 100%. And I also think the NFL didn't necessarily need Robert Kraft in their wake of stuff going on.
Okay, are you going to bring that up later?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, all right. If I can just say one thing about that really quick, though, for those who are just saying, "Well, look at that," like Robert Kraft didn't get anything. The white guy got away with it. The black guy got 11 games. Okay, look, let's just go to this. The person who jacked off Robert Kraft knew that she was getting paid unfairly to jack off Robert Kraft. The 26 women who Deshaun Watson hired did not know that they were going to be jacking off Deshaun Watson. Here's your difference.
Yeah,
that's all.
There's a big difference. But again, I still don't think that the NFL necessarily. I think the NFL was happy that the decision was somebody whose entire history is known to us and no longer do anything else that could possibly embarrass the league. So, but yeah, I think Robert Kraft is going to be very, very shortly, next couple of years. But I have no trouble with Coryell.
Do you think that played a part?
I have no idea. I mean, Coryell's such a good candidate. It might have played a minor part, but I mean, Coryell is just, this is his 7th time as a finalist between the different categories.
Yeah. So. Well, also too, and I said, that's what I was going to say that in our group, the backlog of coaches is bigger than the backlog of owners. So
100%. 100%. Yeah. I mean, once you get Kraft in, it's Modell, which, has got its own issues as it were.
Right.
And then who's next?
I go back to Murchison. That's one of my most wanted.
Yeah. Clint. All right. Clint
Murchison, of course, but yeah.
And then maybe one of the Rooneys, right? But like, the point is that's 4 that we're coming up with, right? There may be others that you might be interested in, but Pat Bolin's in, Eddie DeBartolo's in, Jerry Jones is in. So yeah, there isn't a huge backup. Just in coaches, I mean, someone else who's on this list, and we can go through the people who didn't make it through.
You've got them.
I have them in front of me here because God knows I love a spreadsheet. But like just the other coaches, let's just go to the other coaches on this list.
I never even asked, is your son named Excel?
He is not. It's a very old man's name starting with E and 5 letters long, but it's not Excel.
Okay.
So the other folks we have here, so we had Root Arledge, who of course is a TV executive. Mike Holmgren, who has very good, you're going to do the coach contributor thing. Holmgren's got as good an argument as any, having won with Packers and brought a moribund franchise in Seattle to the Super Bowl. Right. We had Bucko Kilroy, Patriots former GM, and got a lot of stuff to do with the league. Another good candidate. Bob Kraft, Art Modell, we already mentioned. Buddy Parker is another very the man should be in the Hall of Fame just for winning anything with the Lions. as I joked in our Hall of Fame reaction show for the seniors, I am 43 years old, and the Lions have won one playoff game in my lifetime.
Anyone who actually was alive when the Lions won the title is literally a senior citizen.
Yeah, that was what, 57 was Bobby Lane?
Yeah.
Drinking whiskey at halftime of the NFL championship. Yeah, I mean, that's 57. So let's just say, let's make it easy. The early memories, you're 7 years old. This is your first sports memory, entirely possible. You're now 72. You have to get anyone who remembers that game is now getting required minimum distributions off of their IRA, off their 401k. Like that's how long ago this was.
And it's going to be longer because they're not winning shit this year.
No.
Or probably the year after that or the year after that. Detroit is a sad sack franchise that nobody wants to go to. And I just don't see that changing anytime soon. Although the great thing about the NFL is your fortunes can change like that. I can't snap my fingers. So
your fortunes change with your ownership. I hate saying like that, but I mean, the teams that are bad tend to have bad ownership and it doesn't change. Like, and if you have bad ownership, like teams that have good ownership do well repeatedly. The Rooneys are really good owners. Bob Kraft, regardless of anything from personally, is a very good owner. Jerry Jones is a good owner and a terrible general manager, right? Like,
so you heard it here first. Evan is saying, bet the farm on the Commanders on this logic.
Oh yes, 100%. That's what I'm saying. The Commanders, who by doing nothing have moved to the 31st best franchise in the NFL this but yeah, so I don't know for owners, there isn't that big backup, but let's just keep going. Buddy Parker, Dan Reeves, another coach, heck of a resume. Art Rooney Jr., as I said, another Rooney. Mike Shanahan is a very, very interesting candidate. I have him behind Parker and Holmgren personally.
I agree.
But a very interesting candidate for the Hall when he's, if they consider him again. Clark Shaughnessy.
Love him.
You go say something, Clark.
No, actually, I've asked for because Vinny Lospinuso, our good friend, he does Vinny Makes the Hall of Fame case for. So usually he just tells me who he's going to do. I actually asked him for the next time he does that episode I made a request for him to do that. Vinny, as for those who are regular listeners and viewers of ours, he loves somewhat out of the box candidates, but he really loves his assistant coaches. And if he's going to do a big pitch for one, this is the one I want him to do. And I'm looking forward to him doing that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I think Coryell sort of helps somebody like Shaughnessy, because you could argue that Coryell realistically was a glorified offensive coordinator in some ways.
Fair. Yeah, fair. And then, of course, John Wooten was our last one, the chairman of the Fitz-Pollard Alliance, director of pro personnel with the Cowboys, was in the front office when they won a couple of Super Bowls. Also played 9 years with the Browns, was also with the Eagles and the Ravens in their front offices and all sorts of stuff. So another very good candidate who may not rise to the top. When I saw him, I'm like, because I saw him on the original list of 25 and just kind of didn't investigate the name that much. When it became a finalist, final 12, I'm like, all right, who's this dude versus some of these other folks? And he's a very, very good candidate for that. His problem, though, is director of pro personnel is very much like a scout. And I think we're going to have some time before we get another. We had the first scout in a couple years ago now. Nunn. I can't think of his first name. Bill Nunn.
Well, there's Gil Brandt, too.
And Gil Brandt. That is true. But I don't know if we're going to get another director of pro personnel anytime soon.
It's those are the two you wanted, like right. Both the two revolutionaries.
Yeah,
scouting and revolutionary isn't exactly going hand in hand, but if it is, you've already got your two.
Yeah, makes sense. So anyway, so those are our candidates. I think that Kraft is still at the top of the list for next year. So just again, we're getting 3 more seniors and 1 more contributor / coach next year. We're presuming that the 4 who they nominated are all getting in. But I mean, we had one candidate. We had one candidate for the coach contributor. It's the 7th time. The 3 we have for the seniors are all first timers, and Ken Riley, Joe Klecko, and Chuck Howley.
Right.
So it's an interesting mix. Yeah, I expect we'll see all 4 of these guys getting yellow jackets, even 2 of them being posthumously here pretty soon.
I can't see how it doesn't happen.
No.
Well, you can see it. Sometimes, well, you just never know.
Right. I mean, 100%, you never know.
Yeah.
I just hope that Howley is well enough to be there and enjoy it next year.
Yeah, because he's got dementia. At what stage?
Yeah.
We're not sure. So it gives me echoes of when Pat Bowen, because he was still alive, I believe.
He was, yeah. I brought that up at the thing. He was alive when he was elected, but passed away before he was alive as nominated, he was alive when he was elected, but passed away before the ceremony. But his family was always going to be speaking at it anyway. When they announced him on stage at the Pro Football Honors or the NFL Honors, his family came out for that.
Yeah, he was already at that stage where he couldn't probably articulate himself.
And Howley's 86. I know he's a football player. We're talking dementia, but a lot of 86-year-olds, I'm sure football didn't help, but there's a lot of 86-year-olds who get dementia. So
yeah, and you just don't know. You never know. Also, too, I mean, just because you're a pro football player doesn't mean that you're not going to be completely brain damage free.
Right, 100%.
So I've got my announcement. Do you want to bring up, because I know you like this part, the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame inductees, the current inductees?
Oh yeah, sure. Hold on 1 second.
Yes. So while Evan's doing that, I'm going to tell all of you the semi-finalists, and Evan doesn't know who they are. Actually, my webmaster doesn't know yet because I have to send that to him, so that's going to go up shortly.
Well-oiled machine.
Well, I'd like to think that by the time he puts them up, then it'll sort of be in motion. So with added pressure.
Right.
Yeah. So the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, for people who are saying, well, what the hell is that? You're either an athlete or you're not. No. Did Rocky Balboa really win the heavyweight title? No. He won it in film. Hence, the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame. And what is the biggest sports statue? Is it Michael Jordan? Is it Bobby Orr? Or is it Rocky Balboa?
Certainly the most famous.
Yeah. So much so that the city of Philadelphia, when they had that as a prop, said, no, please keep it up. That's what happened.
And I tell you, like everyone else, I've been to Philadelphia and ran up those steps.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And if I ever go to Philadelphia, that's what I will do. It'll take me a few times to get up those steps.
They're not that big a step. The steps are actually pretty shallow. They're good for you.
We haven't met me in person yet.
That is true, but I'd imagine that your knees are good enough you can get up like they're kind of half steps. There are a lot of them. They're kind of half steps. Yeah.
Don't let my fabulous hair for my age.
True.
Yes.
So all right. So I have them up. What would you like me to do?
Just tell everyone who's already in. So if you don't hear these names and say, well, where are these people? Well, it's because you've already inducted them.
All right. So our first inaugural induction back in 2013. Oh my God, we're coming up in our 10th class here, or our 11th class.
Yeah.
Was Rocky Balboa.
Mm-hmm.
First folks voted in. Am I just doing the
yeah.
All right. So first class was heavily baseball. We had Crash Davis from Bull Durham.
Mm-hmm.
We had Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn from Major League, and we had Roy Hobbs from The Natural.
Mm-hmm.
I'd not bring up. We also had Harry Doyle from
the contributor
as well.
Contributor wing.
Who he is, of course, Bob Uecker is in both our Hall of Fame and the Baseball Hall of Fame.
That's true.
And still had one of my favorite things when he was announced when he got the award for announcer for the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame. He said, "I can't believe that it took you guys this long. You know, I had a playing career too." Bob Uecker was a catcher who had 213, I believe, in his career.
But like he said, if he ever had a good season, it would have ruined him.
That's also true.
Okay.
So the 2015 we had Happy Gilmore of Happy Gilmore, Reggie Dunlop from Slapshot, and the Hanson brothers also from Slapshot. So it was a heavy hockey class because Happy Gilmore, of course, also a hockey player. For 2016, we had Apollo Creed and Benny the Jet Rodriguez from Sandlot, and Charlie Conway from the Mighty Ducks.
Hockey, hockey, hockey.
Hockey, hockey, hockey. Oh, come on. My computer is not participating the way I'd like it to. Okay. 2017, we had Bobby Boucher from The Waterboy, Forrest Gump from
Everything,
and Willie Mays Hayes from Major League. Very popular movie for our system here. 2018, Daniel LaRusso, the cheatingest man in sports. No, from The Karate Kid. I'm sorry, I've William Zabka, just is a big thing. Our first female inductee, Dottie Hinson from A League of Their Own, and Paul Wrecking Crew from the original Longest Yard. So the Burt Reynolds character.
Burt Reynolds effect, because he died that year. I wonder if that helps.
Could have been. 2019, I pity the fool who made Clubber Lang wait this long. We had Fast Eddie Felsen from The Hustler, who was our first, I guess, table games, or only table games person in so far.
Yeah.
And Ivan Drago, because we hadn't inducted everybody yet from the Rocky franchise.
Oh, there's still some left.
There are true. That's true. 2020, we had Al Bundy, who, played every sport, but mostly football. Homer Simpson, who played every sport, but mostly baseball. And Johnny Lawrence, who probably got in on the love of the new version of
had to.
Cobra
Came out of nowhere.
Yeah. And finally, last year, Major League, we hadn't gotten Jake Taylor in yet. So it was Jake Taylor, Jimmy Chitwood from Hoosiers, and greatest Boston athlete of all time, Sam Malone from Cheers.
Yeah, that one took a long time. Finalist every year, and he finally got in.
Yeah. So that's, if you're looking for those folks, you're not going to find them because we already got them in.
Yeah. So here are the current semifinalists. So these are the people that you can vote for on the Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, and it's 28. There's 28 semifinalists.
Okay.
So
Is there ties, or is just
because of ties.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's someone going back to the Rocky franchise, Adonis Creed.
Okay. Not surprised.
Yep. From Caddyshack, Al Cervic.
Hey, I can't believe I'm sending the list. I don't get no respect.
Hey, everybody, we're going to get laid. That's where you were going to go with that. But Madonna, in their best performance, in my opinion, ever, all the way, May Mortabito.
Yep, from League of Their Own.
Have you watched the new one?
I have not. I have limited time for TV, and we just finished off. Only Murders in the Building season 2.
You good?
Yeah, I love Only Murders, and we're into season 2 now of Upload, which is also an incredible show.
Okay.
And then once we're done with that, I think we got to go season 2 of Russian Doll, and then I don't know where we are after that. Maybe we can do a new show.
Oh, Russian Doll's got season 2. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so much in sports watching and other stuff. I'm so far behind everything.
Yeah, these things all been out for months, but we're just finally getting to them. The season 2 of Russian Doll, I understand, involves a subway car, and that's about all I know. So,
okay. Another female, Amanda Wurlitzer, Bad News Bears. Yeah, that movie. I love that movie.
I love that movie too.
Yeah. This one surprises me a little bit, but I think it's the alphabet system because it's another A. From, oh God, I'm blanking on the movie, The Breakfast Club, wrestler Andrew Clark.
Yep.
Who pretty much ate a lot and then duct taped someone's hairy ass together. That was the plot of that film, I think. I don't remember anything else.
Pretty much. And the rest of the plot was making Ali Sheedy look much less appealing. So.
I told you when I met Ali Sheedy, right?
No.
Oh, yeah. I forget where the hell it was. I don't remember where it was, but I know what stupid thing I said to her. And then she gave me that stink look, kind of like when I met the bare naked ladies. I said, so, hey, when are we going to see you in Made to Order 2? Yeah, I was a little more obnoxious then. Hard to believe, huh? Ernie
the
McCracken from
the Big
Kingpin.
Lebowski.
Kingpin.
No, Kingpin. Oh my God. Yes,
Yes.
wrong bowling movie.
Yes.
Apologize.
All good. We'll get there too.
Yeah.
Billy Hoyle. White Men Can't Jump.
Interesting. Billy Chapel does not make it, but Billy Hoyle does.
That's true.
Interesting. I was expecting, when you said Billy, I was expecting Chapel first.
No.
There are a lot of Billies in sports movies, by the way.
Well, okay. That is true. Okay, now here's a shock. Here's someone who got one of the most some of the most semifinalists. I did not see this one coming. Bodie from Point Break.
That movie's fantastic, though.
Yeah, I guess, but
yeah. Anyway, that movie's awesome. But continue.
Bugs Bunny, Space Jam.
All right.
Cal Naughton Jr.
Wait, so Bud, the 73 sport athlete, did not get through?
You did not.
Wow.
I just list them. I don't make.
I know. I'm surprised at our voting populace. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I missed. Who was the next one?
Cal Naughton Jr. Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby. Okay.
Chaz Michaels. So Will Ferrell again.
Yep.
From Caddyshack, Danny Noonan. This one I don't get. Dorf. I never watched any of that. I saw those things that never looked funny to me.
I mean, you just clearly don't love golf as much. So what can I say?
Or the one site gag.
Or the one site, yeah.
That's more or less it. Also, I never found Tim Conway funny in anything. But that's just me.
Fair enough.
From Revenge of the Nerds, Ogre.
All right.
Hey, can I vent on that movie really quick?
Yeah, please.
Okay. I know that, I think a lot of people realize, I know Seth Rogen was one of those people who came up with that and said, looking back at that movie, where pretty much Lewis kind of rapes, I forget, the one who became his girlfriend later on, and she's okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a pretty big thing. But my biggest problem in the movie was how competitive could this football team be when Ogre's the biggest guy and he's really not that big and they're all white guys? They're not going to any fucking bowl game.
Not then. Now they probably would be.
Back then, no, they wouldn't. Oh, now they would be.
I was saying back then they would. Now they would be. Yeah. There's 73 bowls. I mean, the city right next to mine had the Elk Grove Village Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl for a couple of years. So
the city near you had a Bahamas Bowl.
The Bahamas Bowl, which sponsored for maybe not last year, but 2 years before that, by Elk Grove Village, which is the next town over from us on the airport.
So they sponsored. Okay.
So it's the Makers Wanted, which is their town slogan. Makers Wanted Bahamas Bowl, sponsored by Elk Grove Village in Illinois. First municipality ever to sponsor a bowl. Paid $200,000 for it, in case you want to know what we need to do.
Yeah, this came up, didn't we? When I played the game with you last year. How many of these sponsors does Evan know?
Not many. That one I happen to know because I know the mayor of Elk Grove. So,
okay.
But yeah. So, all right. By the way, this the interesting one who got pushed by the time we got there. There's Flash Gordon. I would have thought would have gotten some love, and maybe even Drederick Tatum. They've
been semis before, not this time.
Drederick Tatum's great line. I have nothing against Homer Simpson, but I'm going to make a widow of his children or orphans of his children. Like, that Homer Simpson has a wife, right? Yes, but I suspect she would die of grief.
Drederick Tatum. Greg Goldberg, The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, Goldberg, of course.
Yeah. Hamilton Porter, Sandlot.
Yeah, makes sense.
Henry Rowengartner.
The rookie.
Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year. Sorry, Rookie of the Year. That's right.
Yes.
Yes. He would be the third best pitcher on the Cubs this year.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Jeff the Dude Lebowski. So there's your
Herbie didn't make it.
Herbie did not make it.
I vote for him every year.
Yeah. Johnny Utah is a semifinalist for the first time.
Sorry. Also, no Nacho Libre.
No, no Nacho.
Interesting.
Alpha
And no,
Blue.
and no Jack Elliott. My goodness.
No, no Jack Elliott.
No Jackie Moon.
No
Wow.
Jackie Moon. It's all over the place. Now here's another new one that surprised me from Varsity. Not even the one I would have picked from Varsity Blues. Lance Harbor.
Wait, no Jesus Shuttlesworth?
Oh, sorry, I passed that. Yes, Jesus.
Oh my God. All
Sorry.
right. I was like, what's wrong with this?
Sorry. Yes, Jesus Shuttlesworth. Someone who I keep wanting to push every year.
Yeah, Jesus
Never does particularly well.
One of the 3 greatest acting performances by a basketball player of all time.
What would the other two be?
I'd have to say I loved Kevin Garnett in that movie he did with the Black Diamonds one, where he played Kevin Garnett with Adam Sandler.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Uncut Gems, I think it's called.
Uncut Gems. That's the name of it. That was really good. And I'm leaving a space open for a third. I'm not sure, but I was just saying it had to be one of the top 3.
Sometimes playing yourself isn't that easy. I thought LeBron James is LeBron James and Trainwreck was good. LeBron James is LeBron James and Space Jam 2 was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, having to be as intense as Kevin Garnett all the time when you're trying to act as intense as Kevin Garnett and you're not actually playing basketball it's got to be kind of hard. But anyway, continue.
Yeah, but I'm just now on that. I bet you with Sandler, who just loves sports so much, I bet he put him at ease so easy.
Yeah. Well, he's playing pickup big games in Toronto every week, it seems now. So
gotta love it. So yeah, Lance Harbor, Varsity Blues. I love Varsity Blues, but
wait, no Kelly Leak?
No.
Wow. No Kenny Powers?
Nope.
Wow.
Oh, it's all over the place.
All right.
Lee is back. Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon. Lightning McQueen.
Okay.
From Cars. This one's interesting. Another first time. Maggie Fitzgerald. Do you know who that character?
$1 Million Baby?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pedro Serrano, who's always here. Randy the Ram Robinson. Ricky Bobby.
Hold on. I'm catching up here. I'm seeing who got skipped over as we're going.
Yep.
All right. So who was before Randy the Ram?
Pedro Serrano.
Pedro Serrano. Okay. Makes sense. We haven't gotten everybody in that movie in yet, so we're going to get there eventually.
Well, he's the only one left, really. I don't see Roger Dorn ever getting in.
Well, you never know.
Ricky Bobby, and then there's only one left.
All right. So no Pete LaFleur.
Blew my mind, too, because he's been a previous finalist.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Nothing from Dodgeball.
Wow. So Randy the Ram. Yeah. I mean, my opinion, he and Jesus Shuttlesworth are my top 2, just so you know. Is the last one Ricky Bobby?
Well, Ricky Bobby's the second last one. There's one more.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, continue.
Okay, so there's one more, and this is one I'm big on, even though it's a ridiculous film, but I'll just do a quote from it. I read Blitz.
I don't know.
Shane Falco.
Okay.
Could you not tell from my dead stare I was doing Keanu Reeves?
Sorry about that. Yes, Shane Falco. So wait, so no Tin Cup either? No Shooter McGavin?
Nope. Shooter McGavin's never been a semi, which is shocking in itself.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Sid Finch, most people don't remember probably at this point, even though absolutely deserves it.
But a semi.
True.
He's been a semi before.
I'm just looking to see anyone else. Stroker Ace.
Yes, well, as weird as that sounds, Stroker Ace makes me think of my mom. When I was a kid, my parents took me to see Stroker Ace, and my mom never really did a whole bunch of jokes. There's this one scene where Burt Reynolds is sort of in this, I don't even know what we call it, this almost carnival game, and then they flip him over, sort of a dunk tank.
Mm-hmm.
My mom, better watch it. Then my mom yelled out, better watch it, Burt, your toupee is going to fall off. Which she could do because there was nobody else in the theater.
Fair enough.
On that day, I learned that my mom did not like Burt Reynolds.
Good to know.
Yes.
I'm looking, there's nobody from the last page at all. I was thinking there's going to be alphabetism, but like Terry Tate, maybe. Well, most of these other folks are, I guess, Tony Maselli, since we've already had.
He never gets any votes.
Sam Malone, Tyler Durden, Uncle Drew.
Semi last year, but also Uncle Drew is Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
All right, there's a lot of dislike for people who didn't get a vaccine, right or wrong. I'm not going into my opinion on that. I've done that before. I'm not doing it again. But maybe the portrayer isn't as beloved as he used to be.
Understood. And Warren Coolidge, of course.
I love Warren Coolidge. I love that show.
Yeah.
That,
great
yeah,
great candidate who's probably a little stealth because that show's been largely forgotten at this point.
Do you want to know the contributors, semis?
Sure.
Okay. So this one, the first one, it was a semi last year, and I've never even seen this film. Real Steel, Charlie Kenton, Hugh Jackman.
I've never seen that movie either.
I didn't know anyone did either, but here we go. Clyde the orangutan from Every Which Way But Loose.
Okay.
Why not? I mean, the gopher's in, so why not Clyde?
Okay.
Gopher from Caddyshack. So literally, you people, we didn't do this. You all did. You voted this. One of my favorites here from Waterboy, Coach Klein.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Finally, this is a semi-finalist, so I'm very happy, from Friday Night Lights, the TV show, Eric Taylor.
Yep.
So
we're actually gonna talk about that today.
We're talking about Friday Night Lights?
Yeah, I'll bring it up later. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Okay, I know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. George Costanza.
Okay.
Traveling secretary for the Yankees. For those who are thinking, huh? No, come on, you work for the Yankees. Hayden Fox, always here, never gets in.
Yeah, we're getting close to the point where Hayden Fox is going to be one of the most widely known people on this list.
Probably. Irv Blitzer.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, that's John Candy's character.
I can't believe Irv's here, but not Sanka Coffee.
I mean, that is the movie that messes it's the closest thing. I've never had a favorite more inaccurate sports movie in my life than Cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, the only thing they got right was, it's 4 people from Jamaica.
That's true.
After that, although there wasn't Calgary, so there's that.
Yeah, they got that. And they were bobsledders.
Yes.
And that's it. That's the list.
Yes, that's completely it. Whatever. Jerry Maguire, which is, I guess that's really the biggest name.
Yeah, but people are half and half on Jerry Maguire.
It's a chick flick. That's not really our demographic. Let's be blunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. John Kreese.
Okay. I'm in favor of that one.
Yep. Caddyshack again, Lacey Underall. Lou Brown, one of my favorite ones on this.
Yep.
For Major League. Sonny Weaver Jr. That's a little surprising to me. I actually forgot who that was. But that was from Draft Day.
Oh, okay.
So Kevin Costner could get in again.
Okay.
So if you thought, well, where's Tim Cup? Where's Billy Chappell? Well, the Costner stands came out for another unrealistic film. Bill Simmons explains it far better than I can, so I'm not even going to bother, but just sort of look up Bill Simmons on Draft Day and how that could never happen. And then Terrence Mann. Because actually, Roy Kinsella wasn't nominated again either. So Terrence Mann, Field of Dreams.
Wow, nice.
And every year, they're always doing that. And I'll just go through quickly the 4 semis for the veterans. Greta Mueller, which is crap.
One of my absolute favorite movies of all time.
Okay, is it?
Yeah, Sun Valley Serenade.
Okay.
I love that movie. That's the movie that gives us Chattanooga Choo Choo. It's Glenn Miller's last film. He died in a plane crash a week after it was completed. It is very hard to find. I have a copy of it on DVD that is 100% pirated because I could not find it legitimately anywhere. And we watch it on Thanksgiving and or Christmas every single year in this household.
Oh, there you go.
1944 Sun Valley Serenade. The plot, not great. Figure skating, fantastic. So, yeah.
Well, a lot of these old movies didn't have great plots.
Here's the plot of that movie, in case anybody wants to know.
So, I don't know.
So the Glenn Miller's band, which has a different name, I can't remember the name, and their manager is Milton Berle. And so Uncle Milty's trying to get some publicity for the band and have the piano player, played by John Payne, adopt or take in an orphan from Europe who's escaping during the war. So they're in Ellis Island, and all these little kids are getting called and everything. And they call the number, and who shows up but Sonia Henne, who's like, 18-year-old Norwegian, whatever. And then chaos ensues. Let's just put it that way. And they end up going to Sun Valley, where there's going to be in residence for like the winter. And Sonia Henne smuggles her way in with all of them, like basically convinces Milton Berle to bring her along because they're going to leave her in New York. And then she decides that she wants to marry John Payne, his actual fiance, be damned. So, and the Chattanooga Choo Choo and the Nicholas brothers and Dorothy Dandridge are involved. So, and if, by the way, the Nicholas brothers, I don't know if they ever qualify, but if you guys don't know who the Nicholas brothers are,
I don't know who they are. Who are they?
Go on YouTube and just go watch Sun Valley Serenade. Go to YouTube, Nicholas Brothers Sun Valley Serenade, and just watch them dance to Chattanooga Choo Choo while Dorothy Dandridge sings. They were some of the most incredible, athletic, amazing performers of all time. They both died they both lived a long time. I think one died in his late 80s and the other in his early 90s over the last 15 years or so. But yeah, Nicholas brothers were fantastic. I think they're like 19 and 21 when that movie came out. But yeah, I love that movie. So there you go. So in case you're wondering who I'm voting for, there you go.
Well, there's also Velvet Brown,
Yep.
Elizabeth Taylor, National Velvet, the Elvis Presley version of Walter Kid Galahad,
Yep.
Kid Galahad, and Paul Newman's back, Frank Capua, first time from Winning.
Yep.
So yeah, those are the four, and we're going to run that for another couple months. Next week, we'll announce the Fictitious Rock Hall semis, and I'm going to forego my elevator up, elevator down. I was going to go on another thing on Liz Cambridge because I learned sort of a little bit more a couple of weeks ago how she sort of abandoned another team with the Sparks. But I've ripped on her long enough, and pretty much it's a great segue to those who we lost, because I think her career is dead, and it should be. And I'm not going to go into another.
Yeah, understood. But yeah,
I just don't feel like it. I'm in a pretty good mood, and I'm not going to rip on somebody who just blames everyone but herself. And I'm certainly sensitive to those with certain mental problems, but do something to help yourself, and you never did. That's it. I'm done.
Fair enough. All right. So I guess this is where we get to the death roll here. Unfortunately, it's been a couple of weeks because we did this special thing last week. So there are quite a few people. I will say one thing. Someone who is not dead, it just got announced while we're here. The NFL has announced that number one person in the NFL top 100. Did you see who it was?
Wait, they just did a new NFL top 100?
They do the NFL top 100 every year on NFL Network, where they have all the players vote for who they think the top.
Oh, the active ones.
Yeah, active.
Oh, okay.
Who do you think they voted number one?
Oh, it's something you'd think I'd follow, and I really don't every year. Let's see. Can you say what side of the ball it is, offense or defense?
It's almost always offense.
So it's offense. Okay. It's not going to be Brady.
Or what if it is Brady?
It's Brady.
For the fourth time. They've started this thing in 2011, and Brady's for the fourth time as the number one player on the list at 45 years old.
That's insane.
Crazy.
And our US Hall, the minimum you got to be is 50. And Evan and I, we were joking when we first said it. Now we're only half joking. Tom Brady could be active when he qualifies for this hall.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. Again, I'm a Brady guy. It's ridiculous to me that Aaron Rodgers won the MVP last year so easily when he was way behind in almost every category behind, not just Brady, but Brady led the league in touchdowns and yards last year.
I thought Aaron Rodgers had a really good year, but I didn't think it was an MVP year. And actually, because I'm working on something too, because you know that because I've been focused. I've got my 100 NFL 100, which is actually 150. It's the annual 150 preseason active players based on their existing Hall of Fame chances. And as I'm sort of like working on that, and obviously Brady's number one, and it's not even close, and Rodgers is number two, but there's a gap there. But it still blows my mind that Rodgers actually has one more MVP than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And that's not a shot at Aaron Rodgers. I know you're not a big Aaron Rodgers guy. Neither am I. But saying that Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. Last year that MVP, I don't get it.
Yeah, so I'd say Brady's, though, this is definitely an elevator up for him.
Yeah.
Just in case we were wondering. Anyway, all right. So I will say it's been a couple of weeks. We had 3 victims of the beige mystery.
Oh, no.
Yes, 3 separate ones. So first, my goodness, good. Please, anyone who speaks Hungarian, I'm sorry ahead of time. Georgi Pastor, I'm believing, Hungarian ice hockey player, sports administrator, and a member of the IIHF Hall of Fame. Yep, and the Hungarian Ice Hockey Hall of Fame, passed away at the age of 99. So maybe she didn't have much to do. She just went and visited in the hospital or whatever.
Do you know where that's located?
The IIHF?
Yeah.
Toronto?
Yes, it is.
In the hockey hall?
Yes, it is. Okay, well, so much for that. But yes.
Sorry about that. Yeah. We also lost 87-year-old István Liptai, who played for the Hungarian national team in the 1960 Olympics. Passed away at age 87, and József Tóth, who played 456 games professionally and 56 for Hungary, scoring 1 goal, passed away at the age of 70. He left back for them. So there we go. So Beige Mistress was busy this week.
Isn't it amazing since you started doing this? I bet you didn't even know there were this many pretty good Hungarian athletes.
No, and the guy, the 99-year-old guy whose name I already closed it. I can't believe that. I had no idea that there's a member of the International Hockey Hall of Fame who, of like his stature in hockey and in Hungary is ridiculous. It's like basically got the Congressional Medal of Honor multiple times over from Hungary. Just like, it's crazy how much they cared for it. So anyway, one other person I want to bring up, born actually in Nazi Germany in 1941, Wolfgang Petersen, the director who did Neverending Story, Air Force One, Outbreak, Poseidon, In Line of Fire, everything like that, passed away at the age of 81. So I want to bring him up. He gave me a lot of movies that I cared a lot about. Also was nominated twice for Das Boot.
That's where, okay, yeah. That was my grandfather's favorite movie, I guess, because, well, he was on that side of the war in World War II. So he always got sort of, actually watching that with him sort of gave me an interesting political lesson. My grandfather was an interesting character, but he always said like his favorite part was in the start, like before they even got on the boat, where just all the soldiers sort of like just talking about how much they hated Hitler.
Fair enough.
Which, in its own way, I don't think my grandfather was making some great political statement at that point. To me, he was just basically saying that politicians suck.
Fair enough.
I think that's really where he was going with that. But anyway.
Speaking of World War II, Diz Laird, also known as Dean Laird, the only U.S. Navy pilot to have combat victories in both the Pacific and European theaters during World War II.
Wow.
Also fought in Korea and Vietnam and received the Distinguished Flying Cross and the Congressional Gold Medal of Honor. Passed away at the age of 101. I'm
still stuck on like just fighting on both sides. That generally wasn't happening.
No. So he shot down 2 planes near Tokyo in Japan, and he shot down, what's the other one? He's Philippines. I can't see who the other one was. There was somewhere, in over Denmark-Germany border. So there you go. He was also the one of the stunt pilots from the film Tora Tora Tora, if you ever saw that movie.
Yeah.
So he was the guy who choreographed the attack on Pearl Harbor, and was the lead stunt pilot. So 101 is pretty good for a guy who was a stunt pilot in World War II. Also, we lost a couple people from Beverly Hills 90210.
Okay, I know about one, but
So Miss Yvonne Teasley, Denise Dowse passed away at the age of 64.
oh, that's the one I didn't know.
That's what I didn't know. And of course, Joe E. Tata passed away, the owner of the Peach Pit, Nat Busicchio, at the age of 85.
Who was the other character? Like that I don't recognize her.
She was, I think, one of their teachers for a long time in there.
Wait a minute. When they went to school, they actually went to class?
I think so. She's African-American lady with, I haven't seen 90210 in a long time, but since they both passed away, I figured I'd put them together there. We also lost Robert Lapone, the brother of actress Patti LuPone, probably best known as Tony Soprano's next door neighbor. The guy who took out golfing, and all he wanted to talk about was Tony's mob stories. Yeah. So Tony filled the box with sand, told him never to open it, and gave it to him. They're worried whether it was drugs or a gun. Yeah, so he passed away at the age of 76.
Oh, he was that old?
He was, yeah.
Well, I guess that show, I guess I would have been shot. There was Kuzmanos. That would have been like 20. He looked pretty good then. He didn't look like he was in his mid-50s.
Yeah. So he also was the manager of the Doors in the movie The Doors in 1991. And one other person outside of sports or outside of was kind of attached. Clayton Jacobson II passed away at the age of 88. He invented the jet ski. So there you go. Passed away at the age of 88. All right, now to the people who we deal with here on a regular basis. From the world of music, the modern day Stradivarius, the guy who created the most well-loved violins in the world, Ibrahim Kanberi Mehr, who is from Iran, passed away at the age of 93. So if anyone cares about orchestral music and they don't have a Stradivarius, they're probably playing his stuff. We lost from the Christian thrash metal band Tourniquet, the drummer Ted Kirkpatrick passed away at the age of 62. Hold on a second. Everything got out of order here. There we go. British heavy metal vocalist Stephen Grimmett from Grim Reaper passed away also at the age of 62. Tough week if you're in heavy metal.
And you're 62.
American blues guitarist Cal David, born David Raskin, passed away at the age of 79. You know, I always give these lists of people who played with everybody. He is one of those guys. I mean, his band headed up the pro jam at the Hollywood's China Club weekly, and so people would come in and they'd be the backup band for them. So they backed up Stevie Wonder, Bobby Brown, John Entwistle, Brian Wilson, Stephen Stills, Joe Walsh, Paul Young, like Floyd Dixon, Sam Taylor, Sergio Mendes, Chaka Khan. Like it's B.B. King. He actually traveled with B.B. King and worked with him when he was in residence Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. Like just one of those people was with everything. But he passed away at the age of 79. From the world of music still, Mabel John passed away, who is the first female solo artist signed by Berry Gordy to Motown Records, passed away at the age of 91. She had one hit that hit number 6 in the R&B track in 1966 called Your Good Thing Is About to End. It peaked at number 95 in the main charts. But passed away at the age of 91, Mabel John.
Okay.
Hold on a second here. Also passing away, Helen Greco, best known as the wife of Spike Jonze. Remember him from back in the day? Passed away at the age of 97. Had several films that she was involved with, including she was in A Night at the Opera with the Marx Brothers as a small child. But
that's another one of your favorites too, isn't it?
I love everything having to do with like Harold Lloyd, the Marx Brothers, and Buster Keaton. Like Buster Keaton, what those guys did was absolutely incredible. But she also had a ton of hits in the mid to late 40s and into the early 50s on more orchestral and big band sounding records. But she passed away at the age of 97.
And the lastly from music, we had other people here too, but I'm gonna, in the interest of time, I apologize. We're gonna skip out on a few of these folks. Hold on, I lost it. Oh geez, where did it go? It's the last surviving member of the Crickets passed away. As Buddy Holly and the Crickets.
Not by plane crash, was it?
I'm sorry?
Not by plane crash, was it?
No, it was not plane crash. Jerry Allison finally found him. How do you think the last surviving member of the Crickets was?
Well, let's see. Did the music dies over 57, 58, so probably in the early 20s. 88?
He was 82.
Holy cow.
And most interestingly for him, so he was all over his drums, percussion, vocals, guitar, and everything with them. But what's more interesting is that the song Peggy Sue was originally titled Cindy Lou. And Allison asked Holly to change it because he was dating a woman named Peggy Sue Jaron at the time, who he later married. So he had Buddy Holly change the name in order to impress his girlfriend.
Well,
yeah. So they had just broken up, and he asked her to change it so that she would come back, and they were married for a very, very long time. So
that's an awesome story. I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, Jerry Allison was 82. Best known as a drummer, but he also co-wrote That'll Be the Day and Peggy Sue, and also had a Billboard top hit in 1958 under the name of Ivan called Real Wild Child. So there you go.
If you go back to that though, I mean, like the drums on that song, Peggy Sue, is incredible. I mean, like he deserved to just say, hey, buddy, let's change this up. But can we just do me a solid?
Yeah, 100%.
Drum alone. I mean, like, and I've always said Buddy Holly's of my Mount Rushmore of the 50s.
Yeah, understood. 100%. From the world of baseball, we lost Bill Haller, who officiated 3,068 games in the American League from 61 to 82, worked 15 ALCSs and 27 World Series games and 4 All-Star games. So he also very, very famously had, if you ever saw there's a documentary on umpires that the MLB did, and they put a microphone on Holler, and he got in an argument with Earl Weaver.
Okay, that's him. Okay, yes,
that is him. Yeah, okay. So that is him. He was also at the plate when Carl Yastrzemski had his 3,000th major league hit. So, but he retired after the 82 World Series after calling balls and strikes in Game 2 between the Brewers and Cardinals. So, but he passed away at the age of 87. Also from the world of baseball, Bob Walker, who pitched from 1965 through 75 with the White Sox. He was original Seattle Pilot, Milwaukee Brewers, Oakland A's, and Chicago Cubs. Passed away at the age of 84. He's a member of the 72 A's that won the World Series. All right. One more here. Also, John Walkenfuss passed away at the age of 73. He played for the Tigers and Phillies from 74 to 85. Yeah, it's a utility infielder. Member of the Delaware Sports Hall of Fame. So, but he passed away at the age of 73.
Detroit and Philly in that time. Did he win a World Series? Because
he just missed. He left Detroit in 83 and went to the Phillies in 84. And the Tigers won in 84.
Okay.
So he just missed it. He had dementia that he'd been suffering from since the end of 2018. Yeah. So, all right. From the world of, I'm sorry, I missed one other person for music. Creed Taylor passed away, who's big name, the founder of a record label producer, founder of CTI, Bethlehem, worked with ABC, Paramount, Impulse, Verve, A&M Records, signed tons and tons of people. Very, very big in the music community, passed away at the age of 93. Okay. Gary Gaines passed away. This is why I told you I bring up Friday Night Lights.
Mhm.
So the man who, I can't think of his name. I'm sorry.
Would be not Eric Taylor.
Eric Taylor is based off of. Gary Gaines passed away at the age of 73. So that whole thing's based off of a book.
Mhm.
But he also had Alzheimer's disease.
Ah.
Away after 6 years of that. We lost Charlie Frazier, an American football player, wide receiver for 9 years in AFL and the NFL. 1966 All-Star with the Houston Oilers. Also played a couple seasons for the Boston Patriots back when they played at Fenway and Nickerson Field. Passed away at the age of 83. We lost Charlie Brandon, who is a most valuable player of the 1973 Grey Cup with the Ottawa Rough Riders. Passed away at the age of 78. So he was a defensive end and a guard. From the world of golf, I'm sorry, one more from football. Steve Worster, one of the most famous college football players of all time, played for Texas under Darrell Royal. He's a reason that Darrell Royal created the wishbone formation. Passed away at the age of 73, two-time national champion for Texas in 69-70, consensus All-American 70, and first-team All-American in 69. Yeah, passed away at the age of 73. Okay, from the world of golf, we lost Tom Weiskopf, won the 1973 U.S. Open, finished second. The Open Championship, finished second the U.S. Open in 76, third the PGA in 75, and second at the Masters 4 times in 69, 72, 74, and 75. He passed away at the age of 79 from pancreatic cancer. But after his playing career became a mainstay on the PGA and then a golf course designer, mostly out throughout the Midwest. The Mountain West area, Wyoming, Montana, places along those lines. From the world of race cars, we lost Winston Cup Series driver and ARCA driver Ron Hutcherson, who's the brother of IMCA champion Dick Hutcherson. He passed away at the age of 79. From the world of hockey, we lost Doug Ross, member of the 1976 U.S. Olympic hockey team, and as a coach, won the National Club Championship 83 and 84 in Division II and 96 and 98, while with, believe it or not, Alabama Huntsville.
Alabama Huntsville.
That's what it says.
Okay.
But he also played at Bowling Green. I'm not familiar with him, but he was on the list there. From the world of the Olympics, John Powell, two-time bronze medalist in the discus, passed away at the age of 75. He won bronze in Montreal in 76 and Los Angeles in 84. One of those guys whose career was massively disrupted.
1980.
Yeah. We lost International Boxing Hall of Fame member Mogens Palle, who is from Denmark. He was involved in more than 200 matches for European and world titles and worked with a whole bunch of European 200 matches. Yeah.
Crap.
As a boxing promoter. Yeah. He was also the European manager of Sonny Liston and organized the Mike Tyson Brian Nielsen match in 2001 and brought people like Larry Holmes and Carlos Monzon over to Denmark to fight. So he passed away at the age of 88. We're almost done here. One person I wanted to bring up because he just passed away earlier this week, Vincent Gill. Do you remember who Vincent Gill is best known as?
No.
Do you remember Mad Max?
I never actually saw Mad Max.
Oh, okay. The opening of Mad Max, he's chasing a guy named the Midnight Rider, who's like absolutely insane and then dies in a fiery car crash. That's how Mad Max opens. Vincent Gill was the Midnight Rider, passed away at the age of 83. And then the 3 big names this week, Togo Palazzi, passed away at the age of 90. Longtime member of the Celtics and Syracuse Nationals, played at Holy Cross, or the same team as some guy named Tommy Heinsohn. They had a pretty good run of players back then. The Holy Cross Crusaders, Kuzi, Heinsohn, and Togo Palazzi. It was the 5th pick overall in 1954. He's the MVP of the NIT in 54, which is a big deal back then.
Back then it was a big deal, yeah.
Second team All-American in 54 from Colliers, third team from AP, UPI, and Look in 54. Number 22 is retired by the Holy Cross Crusaders. Didn't have much of a career in the NBA, but a college basketball legend, at least out here in the eastern part of the country. I guess I'm not in the east part of the country, but I still feel like I'm from Boston.
You can take the boy out of Boston, but I've never taken the Boston out of the boy. Except for your accent. I'm still waiting for that. You don't sound like our friend Dan Kelly.
Everyone was always disappointed in college. I told them I was from Boston, didn't have much of an accent. So,
a couple drinks in you.
Yeah. Well, it will come out when I drink. I can put it on if need be, but
we'll go to the bar and then after my drinks, we're gonna do that, eh?
Yeah, 100%. All right. So the two big names passed away this week: Pete Carrill, one of the great college basketball coaches of all time. Played at Lafayette, which nobody remembers, but he was the head coach of Princeton from 1967 through 96. Won the Ivy League championship 13 times. The creator of what is still known as the Princeton unveils, which is the backdoor cut, something like that. Member of the Basketball Hall of Fame, member of the College Basketball Hall of Fame, and champion of the NIT in 1975. Again, back when that meant something. Also, believe it or not, coached at Lehigh, which nobody remembers, and with the Sacramento Kings from 96 through 2011. So,
in what capacity?
He was an assistant coach.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah. So, but he passed away at the age of 92.
Right, so with the Kings, when they were really good in 2002?
Yes. So he was assistant coach under Rick Adelman.
Okay.
And helped them install the Princeton offensive game plan that really got them going from there. So
that'd be a good classic review to look at those games between the Lakers. Really analyze whether they were screwed or not. But that's another here or there.
Yeah, Pete Carrill, absolute Philly legend, 2-time very worthy Hall of Famer for college basketball, 92 years old, pretty good run. And lastly, man famous for smoking cigarettes at halftime of Super Bowl, Len Dawson passed away at the age of 87.
Would you say the greatest Kansas City Chief of all time, or in the conversation?
He's definitely in the conversation. Because they've had some pretty good players there.
We had a lot of good players, and Kansas City's got a quarterback right now that could take that mantle.
100%, he could take the mantle. There's no question on that.
I just redid the top 50 on the site, and he's holding on to number one, but barely, because there's just so many incredible players of that era. Dawson, and it's kind of funny too, because he was almost a bust.
Yeah, I know.
And just how everything just sort of like turned around. And it's a great story, I find. Leader of their first really good teams. I don't know, like, we don't really have any Chiefs fans in our circle. You think we do, but we don't.
No, I mean, my buddy growing up was so we're both Patriots fans, but his whole family was from Nebraska. So they're all Chiefs fans. And so I started rooting for the Chargers when I was a kid, along with the Patriots. So we had like a betting thing. Whenever we played Tecmo Bowl, that we weren't always fighting over the Patriots. We'd be the Chiefs and the Chargers, and I'd have Stan Humphries and he'd have Christian Okoye, and he'd basically kick my butt every time. So
that'll be the only time that Christian Okoye makes the show.
Nigerian Nightmare should be on the show at least once a month. Thank you very much.
So, you know where I'm going with that.
I know, I'm kidding. So
sadly, now you hear Nigerian Nightmare, like, well, oh God, another prince wants me to invest.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's well,
I got ice in my mouth. I can't get rid of it.
but yeah, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I'm trying to remember if he was a first ballot or second ballot, but a very early entrance.
Well, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I still have that spreadsheet open.
yeah.
Dawson.
Chiefs Hall of Fame. Just an incredible quarterback, best of it, one of the best of his era. I always find that somehow Dawson, when you're talking about those 70s quarterbacks or late 60s, early 70s, doesn't get the due in some ways.
Len Dawson's a third ballot.
Third ballot, okay. I always thought that he didn't really get the due in comparison to some of his contemporaries in terms of like fame, popularity. I mean, a lot of what he should have got went to Namath. But you know, Broadway Joe playing in New York.
Yeah, but he was. I mean, he was a better player than Namath.
Of course he was, but in terms of popularity and notoriety,
true.
And then that's kind of more where I'm going with that. I mean, we even see a bit of that now as I'm sort of like working on that whole thing. I'm finding. I know I'm segueing out of this here, but I'm just this is something that I'm kind of curious as I'm playing around with active quarterbacks and their Hall of Fame chances. Who's a more intriguing candidate right now if their career ends? And one of them might be Matt Ryan, Cam Newton.
Right. So both made the Super Bowl and lost. Both had, I mean, I don't even know if Matt Ryan had an epic meltdown. His team did. The playing management did. Newton, of course, had the not going for the fumble, which changed the entire trajectory of his career and the way people thought about him.
Right. Both former MVPs.
But both former MVPs. Ryan has the yards, but Newton is like crazy high in their touchdowns list.
75 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, which is
75.
a lot of rushing touchdowns for almost anybody, let alone a quarterback. So who's a better candidate? I think Matt Ryan probably is a better candidate, but I don't think either of them, in my opinion, are Hall of Famers. So, I mean, Newton may be done. We'll see what happens with Ryan in Indy this year. But
he's following the Phillip Rivers road.
Yeah, I'm just wondering who the quarterback is next year. Who's ready to retire? Was Brady finally goes to Indy? Can you imagine Brady went to Indy?
Only as an imagination.
I know. So, by the way, Dawson was first nominated in 1982 and didn't show up on the ballot again until 86.
Oh, so he's a fifth ballot then.
So, yeah, but his third time on the ballot, but his at least 6 year of eligibility.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he got in with actually most of his classes passed away recently. 1987, Larry Zonka, Dawson, Mean Joe Green, Jim Longer, Don Maynard, and Gene Upshaw. Maynard, Longer, and Dawson have passed away in the last year. So he was the 10th oldest Hall of Famer, by the way, when he passed.
Who's the oldest one now?
Still Charlie Trippy. He's 100. He'll be 102, 101 in December. So, and then followed by Art McNally, Marv Levy, Bud Grant. Yeah, Marv Levy just turned 97 earlier this month. Bud Grant, Joe Schmidt, Gil Brandt, Raymond Barry, Lenny Moore, Sonny Jurgensen, and moving into the 10th spot now is Jerry Kramer.
Can we? Oh, a quick thing. Something that the Commanders did right. I think you may have seen that. So they've announced that they're going to retire Sonny Jurgensen's number this year.
About time.
So, yeah, that only makes him the fourth, which for that franchise. And as much as we rag on Dan Snyder and the current incarnation of the Washington football team, whatever we want to call that, they've had some studs play for them, and to have only 4 retired numbers.
Yeah. The Patriots have retired like 9 of them, which is kind of crazy because the numbers they retired are all very good players, but not on that level. I get it. You retire John Hanna's, but no offense to Bob D. Very good player. I know if he's Hall of Fame number retired worthy.
So no, I'm happy for Sonny. And what I think I read, I could be wrong on that, but I think it's going to happen in the last week of the season. So that's sort of good, and good on him and good for his family.
Yeah. All right. Should we get to the good, bad, and ugly?
Yeah, we're closing with Evan's good, the bad, and the ugly of of sports. Thank you.
So I'm going to start with the good. One of my favorite things of all time, the Little League World Series just finished today. Speaking of 5-0, Hawaii won their fourth championship, and they did it in ridiculous style. I would just like to give you these scores of the games that Hawaii won.
Okay.
So their first match was against Washington, 11-1.
Mhm.
New York, 12-0.
Mhm.
Texas, 6-0.
Hmm.
Tennessee, 13-0. That take Tennessee on again, 5-1. Championship against Curacao, fourth inning, 13-3. They had a hit down the line, scored 10 runs, triggered the slaughter rule, and won their fourth championship. This in the last 15 years. Hawaii had never won before 2005. And they've won now 4 times the last 15 years.
Is this because I don't follow Little League World Series, but is it because when I used to watch it when I was much younger, it always seemed like it was whatever US team getting destroyed by either usually by Chinese Taipei or something like that.
Yeah, either Taiwan or Japan. So
Yeah.
Overall, there have been 15 teams that have won the Little League World Series.
Okay.
Taiwan has 17, but not since 1996.
When they actually decided, hey, are these people actually 12?
Maybe.
Well, no, there's a whole thing. Yeah, I watched a whole thing on YouTube on that whole thing. So
Okay.
But anyway, moving on.
Japan has 11.
Mhm.
California has 7.
Mhm.
And now Hawaii becomes the 4th team with 4. So Pennsylvania has 4 from back in the 40s and 50s. Connecticut has 4. New Jersey has 4. And now Hawaii has 2005, 08, 18, and 22. So they've come basically out of nowhere.
Has Curacao ever been in the finals before?
Yeah, Curacao has won the 2004 title.
Oh, okay.
So Curaçao's won. The other ones have won. There are 3 each for Mexico, Georgia, South Korea, and New York.
Mhm.
2 for Texas, Venezuela, and Michigan. And 1 for Alabama, New Mexico, Washington, Kentucky, Curacao, and Louisiana.
Good for Georgia. It's really wonderful to see how baseball is thriving in the former Soviet republics.
Yes, that is the exact Georgia we're looking for.
Yes.
I'm actually talking about the small island off the coast of Antarctica, Georgia.
And good for you, because I knew as soon as I was going with that, you probably knew where I was going, and you just let me run with it.
There's a game called European Universalis 4 where they have all these challenges, and one of them, which I have completed, is try and take over the 3 Georgias. So you have to control Georgia in North America, Georgia in Asia, and the island of Georgia, which is in the middle of nowhere in the, I guess, southern Indian Ocean. So you have to try and take over all 3 during the game, which is not easy to do because you have to, anyway. Nobody wants to talk about my video games.
The sequel that involved getting to that 4th Georgia, famous character actress Georgia Engel, didn't do as well. Thank you.
Excellent. So anyway, all right. So that's the good. The bad is, I know I've talked about this before. I think the PGA may die.
I almost said when you were doing doing the of the death, I was going to say you forgot the PGA.
Yeah. The PGA's response to everything that's going with LIV is to try and copy everything that LIV is doing while being mad at LIV for existing.
The hypocrisy is strong, and it's pretty clear. It's being called out by some of the LIV players, and I think you and I both have the same opinion. Like, careful who you're getting in bed with.
Mm-hmm.
Not again because there's just such great high quality owners in American sports.
Oh, I know.
As we've talked about.
Like,
But
it's. There's another TV show I love that I was going to say something about, which would have been a spoiler, so I'm not going to say anything. But there's a TV show whose name I'll not name, who says that no one had gotten into heaven in like 600 years because living in the modern world, no matter what you do, is evil. Like literally, even the best you try, no matter what you do, everything's so tied up that everything you do ends up being evil. So I understand that. But taking money directly from the guy who killed the Khashoggi and funded the 9/11 hijackers, just a little bit on the nose of the bad guy side of things.
A little bit, a lot.
So,
But yeah, they're in massive trouble. There's more defections,
yeah,
including and I'm blanking on his name, but the top. I was just reading about it too. The guy from Chile.
Oh yeah, I can't think of his name. But yeah,
who I think is like one of the top under 25 golfers there. And I think that's sort of hard. I think when the guy leading, hey, stay with us, is Tiger Woods, who, yeah, it's easy for you to say Tiger because you've got the money we're looking for.
yeah.
And again, it's not that, it's really hard to sort of have a moral high ground with this type of money. But again, the best lesson, and we know it, and I'll say it again, she's sitting in a Russian prison cell right now.
Mm-hmm.
He took money from an evil person.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them did, but they all knew who they were getting in bed with.
Mm-hmm.
They all did. And I don't know. It's golf is in massive trouble. Massive. I agree with you. They're that tour is, I don't know if it's necessarily going to price itself out of existence, but I guess it's a weird type of free agency. I don't know what to call this. Then what am I calling the Saudis Kurt Flood? I don't want to say that either.
Oh God, no.
I know, right? But it's
I just think the world is going to be for an interesting awakening when they see what happens with the fans in Qatar in the World Cup coming up in November. Unless Qatar changes their laws, there is going to be mass arrests of people not necessarily understanding that they're violating. There's rules. It's lengthy jail time for kissing somebody you're not married to in that country.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the rainbow flag yet.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, there's so many things that we'll see what happens. But getting in bed with dictators' oil money never seems to go very well. I'm just saying that. But at the same time, though, like the ATP right now and the WTA have got to be shaking in their boots, trying to figure out how to stop something similar from happening with tennis.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you. I'm bringing back up your point.
Yeah.
Like you were right before. Like
I was?
ATP is
yeah. First time.
ATP is, you can say other sports, whatever. That sport is ready to be taken over easily because we're at the end of the careers, finally, of the big three and the Williams sisters.
Yeah. Okay. Going back to that. They're not looking at the women, sadly.
Probably not.
Yeah. Which also would be ripe for that too. Because you take, because again, if I was them and I wanted to do that, of course, I mean, like in Saudi Arabia, you can't even, I don't even know that they even acknowledge that women can be athletes. But if they did, you've got no major stars left. You have budding stars who could be, but everything just, it didn't follow. Like Emma Raducanu won the US Open last year, hasn't won anything since. Naomi Osaka may never win anything again. She may never even play again.
Right.
But she's also got fuck you money.
Right.
She has to play. So
I mean, now the Williams sisters are done. Is she going to be the most famous person on tour if she doesn't play again?
Naomi?
Yeah.
She already is the biggest woman on the tour.
Yeah. So, and I mean, and ATP at some point, the Joker is going to be done.
Yeah.
Right. And Federer's wrapping up. And I mean, so
this is also why they're both in trouble if they went that route with the women, if they did, because it'd be the same scenario. There's no American male superstar right now. I don't know when the last time that was true.
When was the last time we had an American male superstar in tennis?
With Jim Courier?
No, I mean, we had Agassi and Sampras were after Curry.
Okay, but Courier, like a top 5 guy who was a threat to win a tournament.
Well, Agassi and Sampras are still after Courier. So
Okay, well, who am I thinking of? Andy Murray. Sorry, no, wait, isn't he?
Andy Murray is Australian.
Okay. Okay, so you haven't had anybody big in a while. So you're.
I mean, James Blake has been our best player for.
Okay, but I guess where I'm going with this, the American perception of Middle East is different than the European perception. So you've got, and now if they were to do that on the women's tour, you've got a lot of people who just haven't these budding stars that just, for whatever reason, maybe they're just not going to make it. Now, some of the big ones like Emma Raducanu, Coco Gauff, but they had her pegged as a superstar at 14. I don't know if that's going to happen. She's only 18, but I don't know. In Canada, Bianca, I can never pronounce her last name. She won a big one. But I mean, the fact that the names are escaping me isn't good either.
So just looking up, the top American player right now in the singles rankings for the men is 12th. I will give you, he's 24 years old. I will give you $500 if you can name him.
I can't.
I'll even give you his initials.
I can't. And I even looked this up recently because I was going to bring this up again, and I can't. But go ahead. It's
Taylor Fritz.
Okay, I didn't even remember that. Even on the women's side, right? The number one player is Iga Swiatek, and she's actually number one ranked by a large margin. And she speaks perfect English. She can't get arrested in North America. So, if they were to go after that, why wouldn't a bunch of them say yes? Now, if they go after the men, especially the way that when you've got all these good Russian players who are being treated very poorly right now, for something they have nothing to do with. The only Russian athlete I know that is sort of friendly with Putin is Ovechkin, and no one seems to have that much of a problem with him.
Right.
Team sport, and frankly, neither do I. I mean, I hate what's going on. Not my problem, and I don't want to get into any of that. But the individuals, especially people who don't live in Russia, fuck that.
Yeah,
they're going to hurt themselves. Like Wimbledon's attitude, like everything, they're asking for trouble. And it doesn't take that long for tradition to just give away to other tradition. It won't take long if they want to do it. And I don't know what they're looking at. I got no clue.
So anyway, let's move on because we're going a long way here. But yeah, PGA made me dead.
I couldn't help it when you said I was right.
Yeah, I understand. Makes sense. By the way, Taylor Fritz lost in the quarterfinals to Nadal at Wimbledon most recently. So anyway, last the ugly. This is going to be a weird way to say this, but I joked earlier that the Commanders are now the 31st worst team in the NFL. Like, at this point, have the Cleveland Browns reached Mike Tyson status? Where like anything you hear from them, you'd believe. Like there's no story that could come out about Mike Tyson. You're like, yeah, that's crazy. No, I can't believe that. That's where we are. And with the Bills punter, Matt Ariaza, the punt god, as they called him, they showed an 81-yard punt that he did in a preseason game, and we're talking how incredible it was, has been what appears to be credibly accused. I have no way of knowing, but based off of the information
now, yes,
information as we now know it, this woman, and he says that he did have intercourse with someone under the age of 18, which is illegal in the state he was in at the time, based off of his age. So he's at least guilty of statutory rape.
Yeah, but how old was he then?
He was 21 and she was 17, which technically California statutory rape.
But either way.
Dude, I'm not arguing the logistics of it. I'm arguing the legal side of it. Basically, by saying he had intercourse with her, regardless of whether you feel it's immoral, it's at least illegal where he did it. Those are two separate things, right? People who smoke pot in Utah are doing something illegal. I don't feel they're doing something immoral, right? This one,
Yeah.
regardless how you feel, a 4-year age difference, that situation, people have their own opinion on it, right? But
Well,
at least
consent though. So let's
like that one thing.
Yeah.
But there's no consent from what we could tell. And she said she got raped that night. She was
went to
bleeding
the
from
police
all-
that night, I believe, too.
She went to police that night. She went to the hospital that night. Her piercings had been ripped out. Like there was blood. Like this seems really freaking bad. And what was the internet's first reaction to it? When are the Browns signing him?
I missed that. Okay, I didn't see that.
Like there are Browns fans holding signs at the preseason game saying, "Bitches lie, free." Like what are we doing? Like there's a picture of a dad and his kid with.
I saw that picture. Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
There's leaving morals at the door. I don't know. I mean, there's certain gray areas in a lot of things, and I think we can sort of agree with that. And I've had this argument with other people too. Like, when it's 26 women going back to Deshaun, like, come on. Like, are we really trying to say that all 26 are coming up with the same lie and everything like that? And yes, I mean, I always sort of like want to hear everything out, because I'm not going to just sort of go that far the other end to say, well, if somebody said this happened, it happened. Well, let's play a lot of things out. But I've always said to you that I try to be a disciple of logic.
Mhm.
And whatever usually makes the most sense is probably how it is. I'm not going to say that the punt god is probably guilty, but it's looking that way.
It's not looking good. But here's the thing. And again, I'm ripping on the Browns here. I don't want the Bills off the hook. And again, I am a Patriot.
Yeah, but please go ahead. I know I think I know where you're going to go.
But they've known this information. Yep. They did not know this information when he got drafted. I'm not getting them on that. But they've known this information for about a month.
I thought they did know when he got drafted.
They don't think they knew the full extent of everything when they got drafted.
All right, while you're doing that, I'm trying to find a quote here, a tweet from Robert from RG3. But yeah, go on.
Okay, because that would be different. That would be different information. What I'm saying, if that is the case, and I'm wrong, and I didn't see that, then I'm wrong, and then I'll change that. Let me say what I'm going to say, and then we can move it back. They've at least known for a month, and their coach has been on, the general manager's been on, talking about like, we think I want to let everything play out, but we think he's a heck of a guy. He's a great individual, like all this stuff. And now it came to light because there was a report on it. I don't understand. Like, I'm not going to say the Patriots are squeaky clean, right? Of course.
No team is.
But when Aaron Hernandez was arrested, he was banished from the team immediately as soon as they found out. He was gone, right? And what Aaron Hernandez did is degrees worse, right? I mean, he murdered people over bumping into him in a club. Like, what are we talking about here, right? But he was gone, right? There was nobody defending. You're not going to find Patriots fans like, oh, he shouldn't, it didn't happen, right? I mean, I can't say it didn't happen universally. There are probably some idiots out there who do anything, right? But the team certainly wasn't like standing behind Aaron Hernandez in the situation. People were shocked, but he had to go. But these guys stood behind him for at least a month, pretending this didn't happen after they knew about it.
Yeah, and it's not that I want to get all. Well, okay. Sadly, I think the one difference is, and it's a disgusting difference. Well, a guy killed another guy. This one, it's like, well, just some woman. That's the attitude of someone.
Yeah, it's another accusation. You never know, yada yada yada. Which is
right from. I found the tweet from Robert Griffin. So I kind of got it wrong in my head, but I kind of agree with everything else here. So if the Bills drafted Matt Araiza, knowing that he had been accused of gang raping a 17-year-old underage girl last fall, then releasing him today is all for PR. That being said, if he's a raper, he should not just ever play football again. He should be in jail.
Yeah, agreed. If all that is true, then 100%, I agree with that. I did not know from what I was seeing, they definitively knew everything that we've heard, at least a month ago.
Yeah, with that, I mean, I misread it before that. I thought initially it said they knew, but it said
Yeah.
So I'm glad I sort of corrected that. And
That's fine.
The only thing is, though, you kind of think that they would. I mean, like we talked about scouting earlier, right? The amount of work that goes into this with the NFL, they know what you had for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have it.
Unless you're the Bengals, who didn't have a scouting department until 3 years ago.
Okay, but yeah, I have a hard time sort of believing that maybe they didn't know that, but you know, again, it doesn't matter. Saying that, okay, well, we're doing the right thing for team culture. Well, no, if you're doing the right thing for team culture, you would have quietly, at least if you want to sweep shit under the rug, I get that, but maybe you just sort of try to suspend him or do something. I don't know, but you did nothing until people found out about it. So let's not say, look how great we are. Look how we're defenders. Okay, you're not. You're absolutely not. I mean, yeah, eventually you came to the right conclusion, but yeah, don't play holier than thou. That's not going to work, and no one's buying it.
Wise men do at once what fools get to eventually, right? And we have a lot of people in charge who are fools, who are just letting things slide because of whatever. And I mean, this has been going on for a long time. Remember Leonard Little, who killed a lady while drunk driving and got like a 4-game suspension and was back on the Rams? Like, this stuff happens all over the place. The other joke was that he was going to go, Jerry Jones is going to go take him in Cowboys because of what happened with Greg Hardy.
Well,
like, but once you do that, you've lost the moral high ground on all this stuff. And
what football team really has a moral high ground when it comes? It's just different levels of low.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, because think of it right now, the Commanders. No, I mean, they're just an absolute mess. There's a whole bunch of stuff we're going to eventually find out about the Commanders and Daniel Snyder, right? The Browns we've already talked about. The Texans are somehow getting off scot-free for enabling Deshaun Watson, knowing apparently what was going on, right?
And then remember what you talked about the Dolphins 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you beat me right to it. The Dolphins were the next team I'm bringing up, right? And I'm sure that there are other franchises that there's lots of other stuff going on. I mean, my favorite franchise isn't exactly looked on as the cleanest in the history of sports. So it just, I don't know what the solution is, but
it's not. And there's not going to be one. I mean, some things are just going to get progressively better, and everything's always going to be a case-by-case basis.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the NFL, because I thought incorrectly a few years ago that the whole thing with the concussions was really going to impact the game negatively in terms of dollars and cents. I was wrong.
It has not.
And it didn't. It didn't. I thought that. I think a lot of people thought that, but it's bigger than ever. It's stronger than ever. It's not going anywhere. It's never going to go anywhere, despite the fact that there are a lot of issues going on with that. There's a lot of players who come out of that so punch drunk that God knows what they do before they're even 40. And it's not going to end. I don't know that there's ever going to be a solution to it. I also know that I'm probably not going to stop watching it. So I don't know what that makes me.
That's why it's so hard to get into heaven, my friend.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I mean,
but anyway.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. The thing with, and I know exactly which picture that was sort of coming up with.
Yeah, that's like, what do you do?
Oh, Father of the Year, I guess. I don't know. I love my Saints too. I get that, but God damn it. I mean, I think you and I were pretty lucky. Like, we know some pretty big, I don't know, I think this term might offend him a little bit, in super fans, right? In Wayne Maisley and Ron Patz, fan of the year of Denver. And both are two of the most upstanding people I've ever.
Wayne Maisley, I'm going to say it again. I've said it 40 times on this podcast. Wayne Mabry is the biggest gap between perception and reality of anyone I've ever met. The violator with the spikes on his shoulder and the painted face and everything is the super nicest, chillest dude I've ever met.
A class all the way, and like
Absolutely ridiculously nice dude.
And then I like to view those two as people who really are the standard bearer, as opposed to people where it's like, okay, well, I don't care about these 26 women. I don't care about any of that. And in fact, I'm going to teach my son not to care about that either. And I'm trying not to sound like one of those soapbox guys. I don't think I am, but I call it the way I see it. You know that. So it's just.
Yeah. So anyway.
Costs nothing to be nice. But anyway.
With that depressing news.
Yeah. All right. I'm just going to plug some shit here. So we're going to plug again the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. Vote now, vote often. www.notinhalloffame.com/USA. And something that I think we can all be proud of. And the great thing is about that too, even if you might fall into that category that Evan and I might think you're an asshole, we still want you to vote. How about that? Because it's for everybody.
100%.
Yes. Regardless of what you may believe in, just believe in what that American athlete meant to you as an American. How about that?
Fair enough.
Because it's different for everyone.
Yep. Hey, Pete Rose is someone you can vote for, and God knows he's a divisive candidate. So
He's a very divisive candidate. There's a few divisive candidates. There's also a few that are that have no drama to them, and you may not vote for them anyway, but they're awesome in their own way. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Also to that's up on the YouTube, and now it's up on the main site, and it's getting a lot of YouTube traction. Chris Bourdain and I looked at when the Harlem Globetrotters visited Gilligan's Island on our latest episode of, this crap was on national television. And Evan, you're gonna have to be, I think I'm gonna find me that episode of Man versus Beast, and we're gonna do that. We'll do that before the year's up. So that we can have a special guest.
Let me know. I'm 100% in on that one. That was one of the high points of television in college for me. So we all sat around and watched it when it happened. So
yes. So there's that. There's that. Next week, or coming up soon, actually, probably next week, it's going to be up on the site on how the hell did this go #1. We did a bit of a tribute to Olivia Newton-John.
makes
And we
sense.
looked at physical, which when I was a little kid, I didn't understand it completely.
That was a softcore porn video. Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't pick up on that. I didn't pick up on that at all. I just thought it was just like she was training fat guys to be in good shape, and they magically turned that. I missed the gay innuendo at the end, and I also too, when I was a little kid, it's like when she's saying, "Let's talk about this horizontally." I thought as a little kid, it's, you know what I mean. Also too, when I was a little kid, and you'll like this one, a song we've never gotten to, Exile, Kiss You All Over. I thought it was I'm Gonna Kiss You Like Grover. He was the Muppet guy. I thought you'd get a kick out of that one.
Yeah, I very much. It's okay. I thought that the lead singer of Wham was a girl until I was like in high school. So
I'm gonna kiss you like Grover. At 5, it made perfect sense.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, so that's going to come out soon. And next week, actually in 2 days, it's actually it's going to be a sports-related #1. Kind of. I'm going to give you the
Brass
brand.
Bonanza. It's a Brass Bonanza from the Hartford Whalers goal song.
I got to look that up. I don't even know what that is. Did Hartford ever score goals? I don't remember.
At some point, I'm sure.
Okay, I'm going to give you the band name. Let's see. All right, Jeopardy contestant. Let's see if you got this. The band name is Steam. They went #1 with what?
Steam.
I'll give you the year. Probably won't help you though. 1969.
Okay, I had it at 78. That was my head. So 69. 1969, #1 by Steam.
By Steam, and this
Does it have something to do with the Miracle Mets?
I don't think so, but I'm sure the song's been played at almost every stadium.
Na 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 Na, 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 na. There we go.
Yep.
I ought to think about it.
Mhm.
Was the name of the actual song about Kiss 'Em Goodbye?
Yeah, kiss him goodbye. Yes.
Yeah.
So
There
that,
we go. It was in there. I just had to think about it.
well, yeah. Well, I knew eventually you were going to get that. So
Yeah.
we're going to look at that particular song next.
All
I
right.
decided I was going to spare him. It was my turn to pick a song. Usually I pick sappy 70s shit that it's just awful. I thought I'd pick a fun one just to be nice.
Excellent. Cool.
Yeah, because as I learned, it's actually more of an interesting story than I thought.
And anything else to plug? I just got one thing.
No, it's pretty much all I got.
And just so you know, we're going to start having content on Instagram, or I will, coming up here. I'm at USA HOF Prez. We're going to start having stuff on the United States Athletics Hall of Fame being posted. I recorded something for the first time in front of Wrigley Field as the Cubs-Cardinals game was getting out on Thursday. And we'll start having that and then some more content coming up, hopefully on a couple times a week basis here going forward. So look for that starting probably Thursday. This week would be my guess.
So yeah, we're really excited about everything that we're doing. We're going to be doing more mock committees, which have been a lot of fun. We really enjoy that. If you want to be part of that, please hit us up. If you think you've got something new to offer, especially also if you're part of a fan base that really isn't represented, because we really want to sort of like bring those along. We don't need another Patriots fan. Sorry.
I'm okay. I was here first. You're not excluding me. So.
Oh, we already have one. We got you. We got Dan. Bears are well represented, although they don't really pitch the bear stuff, which is why I really love this group.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I'm the Patriots guy, right? Who am I pitching? Who's my number one guy for the Football Hall of Fame?
Who's
A Viking.
Oh,
Kevin Williams.
Yeah.
Like I am the Kevin Williams stan. Like he never played for me. Like
I'm the Saints guy who told you why Sam Mills shouldn't be the Saint.
Yeah, right. Well, but you and I both agree on what can I think of his name? What?
Pat Swilling.
Pat Swilling. Thank you. Like we're both big Pat Swilling guys. This name popped out of my head. But are they going to put in like the third member of that linebacker core from those Saints teams that didn't win anything? So like, yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. The next Patriot I think should get in is not as good as Kevin Williams. So guess what? Kevin Williams is who I'm going to talk about because he's the guy who was not even making the semi-finalist list, which is insane.
We have a Bears guy who is making the giant case for a Packer.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would make the case for a Jet, but there's nobody worthy. So
when you're a Jet for life. I don't know. Is that okay? Yeah. I don't know. I just know that that's how it goes. I can't watch musicals because people don't just randomly sing when they're doing random things. Sorry.
I love musicals, so that's why we get it on. So well, opposites attract. Anyway, man, let's close this out.
Take 2 steps forward, I'll take 2 steps back. And with that, the Hall of Fame show is closed. Wherever you are, wherever you may be, stay safe, everybody.
Take care.